Sarah, tell us, how can we create more inclusive startups?
Well, I love the question, mostly because there's a real reason to, right? They outperform those that are not by as much as, I think it was 32% or something. They make better business decisions 87% of the time. And I think it was 70% more likely to capture new markets. But if you read the McKinsey report that came out, women of color, for example, only make up 4% of the computing workforce and very little senior roles. So obviously I'm a woman in tech, no woman of color in tech. And I can share with you, my recent story when my co-founders and I decided we would look to raise so that we could accelerate. I told people in my network, and I'm lucky I have a great network, right? So lots of congratulations, lots of support, but there was this onslaught of horror stories, how it's impossible, oh, it took this woman 2 years, oh, the women get any barely investment dollars. And I went on to have this meeting with this investor, not to actually pitch him, but for deck feedback, which is, every founder's journey, death by 1,000 cuts is the deck, right? And he didn't address me by name at all in the whole meeting. Not even the question to do with AI or the algorithm, which is what I actually created. He asked all the questions to my counterparts. And so, that highlights a few of the issues. So I'll just touch on a few. Firstly, the power of stories. Like, how many wouldn't be put off by this onslaught of negativity that they hear around it? Not that we need to mask reality. We absolutely don't. It's pure fact that it's challenging, but we also need to focus on what's possible and give people very clear actionable steps if they want to take action, rather than get them stuck in the challenging process, right? Second of all, I'll be frank, look, there was nothing to suggest that he was doing this on purpose. For all intents, he was a very nice man. It was clearly a very unconscious bias, and we all have them, right? But leaders, investors, everyone in the tech ecosystem needs to understand their own and how that impacts their choices. So, for example, if your team doesn't have representation of your audience that you're serving, then your products and choices are unlikely to serve them well, right? You need to make a conscious effort to challenge your thoughts and make sure you include representation at each stage of creation. Thirdly, the journey of the entrepreneur is this emotional roller coaster. Like, it's an hourly basis. You have this meeting and you're like, oh, this is amazing. An hour later, you have a meeting and you're like, why am I doing this? And, given what I do for a living, we see a lot of data on human behavior. And there's definitely this blueprint for those that are more successful. But we don't teach any of that stuff normally. We don't teach things like resiliency, self-worth, values, the things that actually get you through the journey of what it takes to be an entrepreneur. So we need to equip people with those skills, just as we do all these other things that we teach. I would also say, and this is my opinion, but we need to question our mental model about progress and success, right? So yes, we've made progress, right? Women can wear trousers now, but when you peel back the layers and you look at the gender gap, it took us 47 years to gain 26 point, whatever it was, 4 cents, right, on the dollar. So we also have a mental health gap, with women 2 times as likely to suffer from anxiety and depression. So there's lots of conversations, and it's very easy to think we're making more progress than we actually are. And conversations are important. They need to happen, right? But we also need to take meaningful actions. We need to hold ourselves to a higher standard as to what we think success is for. Like, what are we aiming for? And, goals and objectives tend to drive behaviors. So all of us have to ask ourselves, do we even have the right ones in place to drive the right behaviors? And obviously, I cannot answer that question without saying that the pure fact, we do not have as many diverse candidates to begin with in the funnel, right? So we definitely need to focus on the funnel. I get asked to talk to a lot of younger women, especially those considering engineering, and it absolutely kills me when they go, I really love it, but it looks really hard for a woman to be successful, right? We need to not lose those that are really passionate about these disciplines so early on. Just because it is fact harder to find them, it shouldn't stop you from having a diverse slate of potential candidates, because it matters that they're there in your slate of candidates to begin with. And I can go on for a while about this, so I'll just end with this. As everybody here, we're people in the tech ecosystem. We have a real opportunity to play a role in creating more inclusive startups. So if you're a startup founder, you have the opportunity to actually create a company culture from the start, from the ground up, that's inclusive, right? If you're an investor, you have the opportunity to seek and help build diverse teams. And if you're a diverse individual with a great idea, you have a chance of being one of the success stories. So, you know, I always say to people, look, if you've got an idea and you've dreamed of doing it, just focus on one step forward, or even go and talk to someone. You know, I did not have future worlds when I was at uni. I had jesters, but not future worlds. And, you know, you have resources. So the journey might not be easy, no, not all, but, you know, you stand firm in your ideas, what you believe in, and you learn and you pivot as you go. Because at the end of the day, you know, we all have to ask ourselves, are our own behaviors contributing to the problem or to the solution, right? Because it's about awareness and action.